Hi, my name is Kim Chicarella with the Greater Altoona Career and Technology Center, and I want to thank you for tuning into Why Choose a Trade. This is a recorded session, so I will be putting up contact information at the end so that you can contact us if you have any questions or would like to come for a tour. So let me share my screen with you so that I can go through our session here. Give me one moment. Minimize this. One more moment. Sorry for the technical difficulties all. Okay, so now I am going to share with you again. Let me pull that back up for you. So again, why choose a trade? I want to talk a little bit about trades and how they could be a pathway for your success. So here we are at the Greater Altoona Career and Technology Center. You'll see two of our names on the screen. Unfortunately, Julie wasn't able to come today, but my name's Kim. I am the Recruitment, Retention, and Placement Specialist here at the school. So that means I work with all of our adult students. We have about 200 adult students at the school this year. And my part in this process is I work with you as you're coming into the school. I can give you tours. I can give you lots of information. We can talk about the admissions process. I also work with students as they're students here at the school. So, you know, I teach a career readiness course. I can give advice. I can help with study sessions. I can help with disability services. So I work with students and their needs while they're students here at the school. And then I also work closely with employers to help place our students into employment. So, you know, our employers will get to us with jobs and we'll try to connect you as closely as possible with those employers. And to that end, CareerLink as well is one of our great partners for those purposes. So moving on, I typically play a game here about our trades. I'm going to skip through that for today and just talk about the need for trades. So certainly we know many students go to a four-year college, and that's something that's always been pushed a lot. Even when I was in school, it was something that was pushed that, you know, to be successful, you should be going to college, you should be thinking about your future, you should look at this four-year degree. But the reality is a bachelor's degree needed to obtain a career here in our region? And that's what I want to address today. So I found this great video with Mike Rowe. He's the guy that does the Dirty Job Show, and he has a lot of good thoughts on trades and jobs that are available. So I'm going to play this video for you, what he has to say about the need for trades, and we'll let that go. Your source is there at the bottom of the screen if you ever want to look that up.
Well, everybody talks about high unemployment. High unemployment's obviously a big problem, but it seems to me that the real problem is the skills gap, because the skills gap shows us that there are opportunities available, millions of them, in fact, and the problem seems to be that those opportunities don't get celebrated the same way the opportunities that come with a four-year degree get celebrated. This has been going on for decades, I think. There's a lot of bad advice out there, and kids hear the same steady message over and over and over and over and over and over again, right? A four-year degree is your best path to happiness, but maybe that's not true. In fact, it seems like the jobs that are available today, the really good jobs that can pay upwards of six figures, most of those require some kind of vocational background, right? And while that's a fact, we discourage a vocational background at the same time. So we're kind of disconnected from all of that, in my opinion. And it seems to me if we want to close the skills gap, we have to start valuing something in a different way. We have to start celebrating hard work and smart work at the same time. And we have to start looking at that space between blue collar and white collar as the gap into which all these jobs have fallen. We need to close that gap, and we need to start celebrating the opportunities that are available right now. today, in my humble opinion.
Okay, so obviously, thank you to Mike Rowe, even though he's not here. So, you know, thinking about what he said, and it's very true that, you know, a lot of these really great jobs that are there, people may not be trained for because they've gone on to this four-year degree that does not match those jobs that are available. And looking at this in a different way, I have another really brief video just so that we can look at this in a different way. Again, saying maybe that four-year education may not be the answer. And I'm not saying I'm against four-year education. Please don't read that into it. But sometimes for some of the jobs that are available locally and in other places, that four-year education may not be the way that we need to go. So let me play this for you as well.
Education is core to your child's success. But in order to help them navigate education beyond high school, we must understand the misalignment between education and our workforce. Charts like this present a correlation between higher degrees and higher income, showing on average that a person with a university degree earns far more money than the average person without a high school diploma. This perceived higher earnings for having a four-year degree has fueled a college for all philosophy, causing educators and parents to encourage going to the university, any university, to major in anything in pursuit of future job security, social mobility, and financial prosperity. This philosophy has increased college enrollment, resulting in 66% of high school graduates enrolling in higher education right after high school. Initially, they are deemed the successful ones. But what you won't see advertised is the reality that most drop out. Nationally, only about half of those enrolling in a four-year university will actually graduate.
Okay, so you know, we see that in that short video that many people are going to college, and that's been always, again, defined as success, going on to that four-year university. But what you're not hearing is that many are not graduating too. And would it have been better to have some of these people getting into the place where the jobs actually are locally? So let's think about the need for trades and that skill gap that both Mike Rowe referenced and that we'll be talking a little more about. So there's a gap between the education and skills needed for high priority jobs and the training that aspiring workers obtain. So when I talk about high priority jobs, those are jobs that we look at that are in high demand in our region, or in whatever region that you're in, that would be defined as a high priority job. And there seems to be a gap between the education that people are getting and the skills that are needed to fill those high priority jobs. I have two graphics, this one and the next slide, that are just kind of illustrate that. So if you look at the first here, a majority of jobs, 53%, require some sort of skills training beyond high school, but they don't require a four-year degree. And that's in the red right here. So you can see 53% of those jobs require skills training, but they don't require this four-year degree. Only 31% of jobs do. Yet, when you look at where people are going and their education level, you can see, wow, we've got only 31% of jobs need that four-year degree, but 37% of people are trained to do that. Yet, we got these 53% of jobs that need skills training, and we only have 42% of people that are trained to do that. You can see that gap right there, that all these jobs from 42 to 53% are not getting filled because people do not have the training to do that. Another way of looking at that, so between 2018 and 2028, this was an estimate that came out that the skills gap may leave an estimated 2.4 million positions unfilled, and that would be nationally. So this was pre-pandemic that this estimate came out. But I think that you will find that a lot of these high priority jobs, the jobs that we're talking about, have either not changed much through the pandemic, or in some cases may have actually grown. If you think about health sciences, a lot of those are some of these jobs that we're talking about. When I'm talking about trades, I'm also talking about health sciences like nursing, medical assistant, and some of those jobs have actually grown. We're seeing a tremendous need within the health sciences. So although this estimate may be a little bit off. I think you'll find, and you'll find as the years go on too, I think as we start to return to some normalcy, that this is going to be true again. But at that time, and this was not long ago that this estimate was done, between 2018 and 2028, it was estimated that there would be 2.6 or 2.7 million jobs open from retirement and 1.2 million jobs due to natural growth. So altogether, 4.6 million manufacturing jobs that needed to be filled from 2018 to 2028. Yet you'll see that only 2.2 million of those were likely to be filled. And that's because of that gap. That's because people just aren't trained to do these things. And again, I'm going to return back to our video just to kind of sum that up.
The true ratio of jobs in our economy is 1 to 7. For every occupation that requires a master's degree or more, 2 professional jobs require a university degree, and there are over half a dozen jobs requiring a 1-year certificate or 2-year degree, and each of these technicians are in very high-skilled areas that are in great demand. This ratio is fundamental to all industries. It was the same in 1960 and will be the same in 2030. Formal education does count, and many students now secure degrees, but few have employable skills, and in tomorrow's economy, skills count more.
Right. And so, you know, as they were saying, before we start getting into the trades that are here in our area, as they were saying, you know, for every 1 job that's requiring that highest degree, there's 7 out there that do not require that. Yet those jobs are good jobs that need to be filled. And they are often the in-demand, high-priority jobs. So which trades are in demand in our area? And I want to take a look at those. So this, this graphic actually comes from workstats.pa.gov, so the Department of Labor. You can actually go to this website, which, as kind of an aside, this is a really great works website. If you want to go, you can find pretty much any information that you would need in terms of workforce statistics on this site. But, you know, every year they look at, you know, what are the projected in-demand trades in our region. And so this one is going to show you both the wages for in-demand trades in our region and employment. What kind of employment do we have in this region for these particular trades? And these would be trades that you would find on that high priority list. So things like licensed vocational nurses, licensed practical nurses, nursing assistants, dental assistants, medical assistants, phlebotomists, carpenters, electricians, automotive service technicians, bus and truck mechanics, heating, refrigeration mechanics. So what you what you would typically call HVAC, machinists, welders, all those would be on this list. And by the way, if you look at the type of jobs that those are, pandemic or non-pandemic, we still need those jobs. We still have people whose furnaces go out. We still need people who have healthcare. So these are jobs that are high priority for a reason. Looking back at the wages in 2019, you can see what the entry level wage, if you look at nursing, for example, in our region, this is again for our region, entry level is about 34,000, average about 41,000, and experience about 45,000. And these are all trades that would require likely 1 year or less of training. You could have any of these trades with 1 year or less of training. So that's a good return on investment when you think about what you're being paid for the amount of training that you put in. And looking, how many jobs are in demand? How many jobs do we have in this region? Well, back in 2016, there were 1,570 nurses. Projected, again, this might have been projected pre-pandemic, but it was projected that by 2026, we'd need 1,660 LPNs. That's a 5% change. So annual demand, we need about 122 nurses in our region per year. So these are good bets that if you're looking for a job and you get this training, you're likely going to be able to get that position. So that was local data. Looking at some national data, these are some of the jobs that are on the U.S. News and World Report ranking of the 100 best jobs. And these, I picked jobs from that report that are on our high priority list locally too. But medical assistant, medical records technician, dental assistant, phlebotomist, licensed practical nurses. Each of these jobs in demand for our region and are on that national list of 100 best jobs too. So kind of recapping what I've just gone over. Many of the in-demand trades on the high priority list for our region require no more than a post-secondary education. So you don't have to go to a 4-year school. You would be good going to a 1 or 2 year education. And here we have nothing longer usually than 12 months. For every job requiring a master's degree, there's 2 that require a university degree and 7 that require a 1-year certificate or 2-year degree. So you can go on and get that university degree, but there's only going to be 2 jobs available to you. But if you're looking at the 1-year certificate or the 2-year degree, there's probably going to be 7 jobs available to you. And all those ones on that high priority list would be some of those jobs. And again, as I just said, because only 3 out of every 7 jobs require a college degree, we got the skills gap. We got all these people going on to college, but nobody that has the skills to fill those 7 jobs that are there. Those high demand jobs are not being filled, and it's one of the reasons they're in high demand. So if you're thinking that maybe I'm ready to pursue a trade, what do I do next? Well, first, you have to decide what trade might be right for you, considering the demand in your area and your interest. So you'll have to think about, well, what do I like to do? And then maybe go back to that high priority list and think, okay, are those jobs ones that are open in my area? There are also many career assessment tools that you can use. There's a great one on a website called ONET, called My Next Move, that you could go to. It has a great career assessment. I know the CareerLink could also recommend other ones, but these are just short little kind of quizzes that you would take to see, well, if I'm not sure where my interest area is, what do my answers indicate? So that might give you an idea of your interest area. Or you could talk to CareerLink. They're full of knowledge about careers. They can give you some advice. And even here, we have 30 different programs available. Often when I give tours and I show people around our school, people aren't really sure what's involved with each trade. And so I give them a little more information and background and employment statistics, and I can tell them a little more so that we can try to match their interest areas to what's available. Why would you choose a trade school? Well, you get almost immediate hands-on training when you go into a trade school. So and unlike a 4-year school where you've got to take all of these other core courses, we're really narrowing down to the courses that you need to get in, get out, and be successful within that particular trade within a year. As I say on here, most programs at trade schools are less than 2 years, and many offer less than 1-year programs. Many of our programs here are only 9 months. And it's affordable training. Think back to what I said about that return on investment. Think of what you would be paid at the, what's the average salary for those high priority occupations, as opposed to what are you paying in to go to school. Some of our local training providers in this area, obviously we are one of those: Penn Highlands Community College, South Hill School of Business and Technology, Allegheny College of Maryland, CPI, Pennsylvania Institute of Science and Technology, and the Greater Johnstown Career Technology Center. All of those would offer some of these career training in the 2 years or less. And you combine that with CareerLink, who will be as helpful as possible to you in getting to school and getting that training you need, and you've got some success. To kind of give you a local training success story, this was a gentleman who actually came to our school last year. His name was Michael Quinn, and I'll read you. I have a quote from him there on the screen. But he worked for a local manufacturing company for 13 years, joining right after he graduated from high school. In early 2019, the employer decided to close the operation and move the manufacturing operations out of Pennsylvania to another plant that they owned, and all of the local employees were laid off. A trade petition was filed on his behalf, on behalf of all the impacted workers, and benefits were awarded. The manufacturing process used by his previous employer was really unique, and there were no other similar jobs in this area. So after learning from the PA CareerLink about the benefits he was eligible for under the Trade Act, Mike decided to retrain as an HVAC technician, so heating, ventilation, air conditioning technician here at the CTC. And after graduation, and with help from the PA CareerLink, Mike landed a job as an HVAC service technician with a family-owned local contractor. The employer is using the on-the-job training program through WIOA to train Mike for the first 6 months of employment. And if you have questions about that on-the-job training program, please go to CareerLink and ask them about that. It's a great program. But Mike says, it was a challenge at first going back to school, learning how to study for tests and learning something I knew nothing about. The HVAC instructor and adult education office were very helpful in my completion of the program. I obtained a job with Chuck Fierce Heating and Air Conditioning. They are participating in that on-the-job training program through the PA CareerLink, which allows me to learn on-the-job skills as well as benefits my employer. There's a lot to learn, and I'm learning new things every day. Thank you to the PA CareerLink staff and GACTC staff for helping me on this journey. And I remember Mike, well, a hard worker, great student, really applied himself and benefited greatly from the training he got. So I was very happy to hear of his success. So if you're thinking about pursuing a training in the trade, what are some questions you should ask? And you should ask this of any school really that you're going to. These are things that you'll want to be thinking about and planning for and that you'll want to know. So first, what's the criteria for admission? How do I get in this place? What do I have to do? What's the criteria? What tuition and other fees are students responsible for? Make sure that you know the whole amount that you would be paying out. And is there financial aid? Now, where can I get some help? If you've never heard of the FAFSA or the free application for federal student aid, that's usually one step. So find out more about financial aid and see if they have a financial aid officer to help you out. What credentials do the instructors possess? Do the instructors, are they trained in these fields that I'm looking at? Does the program have articulation agreements with other colleges and universities? So that's something you want to find out. So in other words, you're getting this 1 or 2 year degree. If you want to go on and do something else, are there agreements with any other colleges and universities that would allow you to do that? And I will say that here we do have articulation agreements with some local schools that those schools will give you credits for the time that you put in here if you want to go on. Find out if internships and externships are available. Those are really great ways, valuable ways to gain on-the-job experience. And we do have those available here too. Is there career assistance? You know, I told you we work very closely with employers to try to, you know, have the jobs matched or have our students find the employment that's available. So make sure there is career assistance. We work with helping our students create resumes and references. Can you get that help? And what's the average class size? Typically, you'll want a smaller class size, especially when you're looking at a trade, because you want to have some individual attention from the instructor, and you want to be able to practice that trade safely without, you know, bumping elbows with lots of people. And for that reason, we keep our class sizes very small here. So here at the Greater Altoona Career and Technology Center, and I threw a couple pictures of our school. If you don't know where we are, we're right beside the Altoona Area High School and the Altoona Area Library. So if you've been to the Blair County CareerLink, we're right behind it. We take up a whole city block. You can't miss us. We offer both high school and post-secondary or adult education here at the school. And you know, when I was younger, they called it the VOTEC. They don't call it that anymore. They call it the Greater Altoona Career and Technology Center, but you might know it as the VOTEC. But as I said, we do have 27 career and technical programs, and high school students in the area attend from 8 different high schools in the region. Now, both of our programs, high school, post-secondary, are regionally accredited, and we have many program-specific accreditations too. And when you're coming to instruction here, you're getting hands-on learning, and it's really similar to being out in the job. You are learning on the equipment, you are learning to do specifically the job that you're training to do. And actually, just so you know, the photos on this were some of our adult students from last year in our culinary and our power equipment classes. So what do we offer? We have quality education. We have expert instructors. These instructors are experts in their field. They were experts in their field before becoming teachers here at the school. As I've said, our classes are streamlined, so we have program-specific instruction. You're not taking a history class, for example. You're going to take the instruction you need to be able to work in that profession as quickly as possible. We have opportunities for direct hands-on experience, including internships. We do have several of our adult students that go out every year for internships. A very wide variety of programs, 27 plus programs to choose from. A really small student to faculty ratio, so you're going to get individual assistance from the instructors that we have. Tuition that's affordable, and we've got great financial aid opportunities. Just need to make an appointment with our financial aid officer. She'll talk you through all of that. Industry valued credentials. So, you know, you will be testing or you'll be gaining credentials that are recognized in these industries, certifications that are recognized in industries. I've already talked about the articulation agreements that we have. We also offer student activities for our students that are current students of our programs, and we offer lifelong career assistance. So I've already said I teach a career readiness course, but if you come back to me in 5 years and say, boy, I need some help updating my resume, I'm right here. We can still do that for you. Some of our full-time post-secondary programs would be expanded function dental assistant, or FDAs. So those FDAs are the kind of like the PA of the dental world. They do almost everything that a dentist does. You have heating, ventilation, and air conditioning, or HVAC. We have 20 options for intergenerational programs. So the two that I've already gone over, the FDA, the HVAC, and then some of the ones below here are adult-only programs. When you come in, there's only adults in the program. The intergenerational programs are actually high school programs in which adults are permitted to enroll to get that same certification that the high school students do. And we have 20 options of intergenerational programs. Some more adult-only programs would be medical assistant, medical office specialist, practical nursing, and welding. And we do have a part-time practical nursing program as well. But it starts every 2 years. So this upcoming year isn't going to be a start year, but the next year it will be. We have very short-term programs that you can come in and just get certified in a specific thing. So one of those might be nurse aid. So nurse aid that help, those are the people that help with patient care, feeding, transferring, bathing, cleaning, dressing. Those would be nurse aides. That's a short-term program here at the school. Phlebotomy, the taking of blood, that is another short-term program. Although in some of our programs, such as medical assistant, you are also trained in phlebotomy as part of that program. Expanded function dental assistant certificate. So if you are already a dental assistant for 2 years, you may just be able to get this certificate. That's a short-term program. We offer PA vehicle safety inspection training and testing, and PA vehicle emission testing. So that's certification for each of those as well. And so if you want to reach us, I've put up here our contact information. 941-TECH is usually the easiest way to remember our phone number, or adulted@gactc.edu. We are open year-round, not just school year hours. And our adult education office is typically open Monday through Thursday from 7:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. And on Fridays, 7:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. So if you want a tour, you want to stop in, just give us a call, and I'm happy to set that up for you. We are open at this time when many institutions are closed or places are closed. We are open here at the school. And obviously you would want to get in touch with PA CareerLink Blair County, because they are going to be your go-to source for finding employment in this area. So let me stop sharing my screen here for you, and really just thank you for tuning into this. Again, my name is Kim. I'm the only Kim here at the school, so if you call in and you want to have a tour, you have specific questions, I really encourage you to do that. Or even if you just have questions about trades in general, I'm happy to try to answer that for you, or direct you to the place where you can get that answer. So again, thank you for your time. It was nice to meet you and be able to speak with you today. Thank you.